Do you love baskets? Me too. They're useful in so many different ways. Today, let's explore some handmade, affordable gift basket ideas to celebrate the wonderful people in our lives.
The best place for the best price and the most variety in baskets is your thrift store.
Hello friend, welcome back. If you're new, my name is Rachel from the blog stonecottagehome.com, where we cultivate the art of home. Today I have a couple fun, simple gift basket ideas. The first is a basket of goodies for an expectant mother to enjoy during her recovery. The second is a beginner sewing basket to encourage new seamstresses as they discover the world of sewing. For more fun, stick around to the end of the video and I'll share with you a couple ways we use baskets in our home.
I'm excited to share some creative ideas for putting together gift baskets to celebrate the special people and occasions in their lives. This basket will be for my sister Carrie, who has recently remodeled her vintage-looking farmhouse kitchen, and she is about to deliver a little baby girl, and I am so thrilled. So for her, I've got this book from her favorite blogger for her to enjoy and relax with while she recovers. For the table, I would like to make this quilted table runner in creams and reds. So for beginners, I looked through some thrift shops and antique stores for home decor items. This is a vintage print by Currier and Ives of the American farmhouse in summer. I also found the spring farmhouse and this beautiful ivory linen table topper. Now, I have discovered that when you choose a color palette to go with your basket, it's so much easier to put together. Knowing that her kitchen is white, I went with these whites and creams. And then for the other color, she's got these vintage enamelware dishes with a red rim. So I chose the reds to go along with it. And as you may know, every quilt has a bit of history and story to it. That bandana you see there was from my grandmother's stash. Just such a special touch. I chose to go with a very simple triangle pattern, and you'll see this muslin oval here I will use to make a label, which will record the occasion for the table runner. And later, I did add the date. Also, this honey is delicious, light and fruity orange blossom honey. So it came in this tacky plastic container. I put it in this charming little jar and added a little touch of color with the fabric on top. Here you see the basket all together, and I really hope that this has given you some inspiration and some creative ideas for putting together a gift basket for someone you love. Since I have a young niece who is learning how to sew, I have been keeping an eye out in the thrift store for weeks for a sweet little sewing basket, the perfect size for basic notions. This one does have snowmen on the lid, so definitely a DIY project. But the lid looks easy to remove. The basket was sturdy, a great price, and had a solid wood handle. My first thought for covering the snowmen was decoupage. So I went to Joann's and found this sweet bird paper and gathered my decoupage and scissors and got to work. This was a nice afternoon project, perfect for some Baroque classical music and iced coffee. The lid did come off easily, and I then used it as a template to trace onto the bird paper. Once the paper was trimmed to size, I could add the Mod Podge and apply the paper on front and back of the basket lid. If you've never used Mod Podge before, it's very easy, and as you can see here, it allows you to shift your piece until it's centered. Now, oftentimes you will get a few bubbles and wrinkles that you just can't work out. I think that adds to the handmade look of this particular craft, and it just adds a little bit more charm. I applied 2 coats of Mod Podge on each side of the lid with drying time in between. Once this last coat is dry, we can reattach our new beautiful lid to the sewing basket. It's so pretty, but that bird is upside down. Here you can see I have cut a smaller panel which will set, kind of inset on top of the original one with the birds right side up. I really think this turned out well. It looks like it's framed with the piece underneath. 2 more coats of Mod Podge and this little basket is ready to pack.
My idea for this project was born when I heard my young nieces were learning how to sew. As a quilter and a seamstress, this is quite exciting to me. When I was about 6 years old, my aunt gave me a piece of fabric, needle, thread, and an embroidery hoop and showed me how to write my name on fabric. Even though this was about the extent of our learning experience together, I would say she opened the world of sewing for me. And this is exactly what I would love to do for my little nieces.
The favorite colors for this little niece include greens and browns. Here you can see I've pulled some fabric from my stash and I am cutting 2.5-inch strips. Once they're all cut, then I recut them into 2.5-inch squares. By cutting everything the same size, this gives her the ability to make a little doll quilt, a wall hanging, maybe pillows, or even a table topper if she likes. Now it's time to package everything in little tins, tie it up with ribbon, and send the basket on its way. I'm imagining my little niece arranging and rearranging these beautiful squares to her heart's content, all the while developing her eye for design, color, and pattern combinations. Beautiful fabric tied up with ribbon could just very well be one of my favorite things. You may know by now how much I love storing odds and ends in vintage or antique little tins. It's so fun! These vintage buttons are from my grandmother's stash. Some beautiful pearl head pins and stork scissors make for a fun sewing time. And of course, the cherry on top, a mini charm pack full of beautiful colors and patterns. I cannot wait to see what she does with these. Two of our nieces are close together in age, and their birthdays are close together. So let's make another sewing basket. This one is larger with a wooden lid and a solid handle, as well as some lining. Let's give it a makeover. As before, I will decoupage the lid inside and out just to give it a little bit of an update. The paper is trimmed to fit the lid, and the edges of the flowers are cut out to give it a 3D effect. The top is all dry, and I'm still amazed at how simple decoupage can transform an ordinary object into something special with a handmade touch. Now to fit the paper for the inside of the lid, cutting around those little hinges. All done. Let's take a look at the goodies ready for this new little seamstress to enjoy. Here we have some basic sewing notions, a cheery mini charm pack ready for her to play with, and a couple of extra quilt blocks for inspiration. We can't forget the vintage buttons from her great-grandmother. Happy sewing, little niece! As promised, here are 3 ways we use baskets in our home. This long, rectangular, shallow basket is perfect for organizing items in our bathroom drawer. On a shelf in my office sits a basket holding cables and chargers for camera batteries and my headset. Within arm's reach of this cozy reading chair is an antique handmade basket with leather handles, ideal for storing inspiring books.
Wasn't that fun? Thank you for coming along. If you enjoyed your visit today, subscribe and join the Stone Cottage Home family. And if you found your visit to be helpful and inspiring, please leave a thumbs up. Until next time, take care.